Hi guys, Miss Shearhart here. Today we're going to be talking about how to calculate the formula of a hydrate. So a hydrate is not just a regular compound like we were doing before with empirical and molecular formula. A hydrated salt has water attached to it. So it's a type of ionic compound that has water molecules represented by this dot in the middle that are attached to the actual compound. So we call it hydrated when it has water attached, and we call it anhydrous when there's no water attached. So that means you take your hydrated salt and you heat it. So after it's been heated, all the water evaporates, then it's anhydrous. So in this example, we have 3.34 grams of SRS2O3.X H2O. So we want to find this X. How many water molecules are attached? We heat up our whole entire compound, and after we heat it, there's 2.30 grams that remain. Okay, so if there's only 2.30 grams that remain, the rest must have been water that evaporated. So we can calculate the mass of the water that evaporated by taking our initial mass minus the mass that remains at the end of the salt, the anhydrous. Okay, so what evaporated there must have been the water. So 1.04 grams of water evaporated. Okay, so now that we know that, we can go through the process. So the first step is to calculate the number of moles of the anhydrous SRS2O3. So there's 2.30 grams of this anhydrous salt. And using the molar mass, which is 199.76 grams, I can find that the number of moles that I have of my anhydrous is 0.0115 moles. Then I'm going to find the number of moles of the water. Okay, so the number of moles of the water is my 1.04 grams times my molar mass goes on the bottom, so my grams will cancel, 18.02 grams per mole. Showing out my canceling here. That gives me 0.0577 moles of water. So now what I do is I set up my ratio of my anhydrous salt, SRS2O3, to water. And I write out my number of moles of them, 0.0115 moles to 0.0577 moles. I divide by the smallest, which is always going to be your salt, because your salt is always 1. So I divide by my smallest, that always gives me 1, to some whole number. Okay, so this is not like when we were able to multiply to make it into a whole number. This has to work out into a whole number. So whatever this works out to, you have to round to the nearest whole number, and this one works out to being 5. So that means that my X was 5. So my formula is SRS2O3.5 H2O. Okay, this is telling me that there's 5 times the number of moles of water for every 1 mole of the anhydrous salt, right? So I have 5 over 1 here. So 1 of these to every 5 of these. So this is my formula. So if you try to visualize that, if your salt is your square here, there are 5 moles of water, which is going to be my circle, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and they're all attached to this salt. And that's what makes it a hydrated salt. And if I heat this hydrated salt up, I end up with my anhydrous and those 5 water molecules that evaporate, and now they are separate from each other if I heat them. Okay, so it's a hydrated salt that has the water attached to it. All right, guys, take care. Catch you next time.